Take a 22mm socket, take the lug nuts off. Take off the wheel. Want to remove this cotter pin right here. If you have to, use a screwdriver, just pry it up a little bit. Grab some side cutters. There you go, take that out. Now use an 18mm wrench, loosen up the nut, and get that nut loose. You might not be able to get it off because the CV shaft might be in the way, and that's okay. We're going to separate the ball joint. I'm going to use a pickle fork. There's other front end tools you could use. Slide it in there. This ball joint has been replaced in the past, and there's nuts that hold this ball joint in. If you're the first one to replace it, you're going to have rivets that hold the ball joint in. You're going to have to drill through those rivets. You want to start with a 8mm drill bit, drill through it, and then get a 12mm drill bit and drill it so that it's bigger. That way you can take the ball joint off and reinstall the new ball joint. To be able to tip the control arm down a little bit, I am going to loosen this bolt up. You can use a 21mm wrench on this side and a 21mm socket on the other side. Loosen this up. Once it's loose, you should be able to tip it down a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to use a T50 socket on the top of these screws just to hold it from spinning. Then I can use an 18mm socket. Take the nuts off. Do the same with the other ones. And pull the ball joint right out. Take the new ball joint. We'll take the bolts that comes with. Slide those in there. And just rock the lower control arm down. Line those bolts up. We get the 3 nuts started. Now I can use an 18mm wrench, 18mm socket down below, tighten these up. Now torque these to 50 foot-pounds. Ideally, you want the whole suspension all together with the wheels on the car on the ground and then torque this, but that's not easy to access, so do it right now. Tighten that up. Now we're going to torque that to 85 foot-pounds. Now we're going to insert the ball joint into the knuckle. You might have to move the ball joint out a little bit or in. Watch your fingers. And before it slides up all the way, you want to get the castle nut. Put the castle nut on. Get that started. And then we're going to tighten it up with a 18mm wrench. Once it's snug, you want to torque that, if you have the ability to torque it with a torque wrench, to 89 inch-pounds. Remember, it's inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. And then an additional 165 degrees. So if you can't get an angle meter in there, do the best you can. And now you want to make sure the cotter pin will line up with the hole. If it doesn't line up, just tighten it up a little bit more. You never want to loosen the nut. It goes through. And then you can take some side cutters and just bend the cotter pin. And just trim the excess. Put the wheel back on. Put the lug nuts on. Now I'm going to torque the lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Now I'll just go around again, double check. Keep in mind, after you do this job, you want to bring the vehicle to a repair shop, or you can have it aligned so you don't have premature tire wear.